Are you afraid to buy a home right now because of fears that the real estate market might crash? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. This is one of the most common concerns that I hear from a lot of people that I talk to that are considering buying a house this year. In this video, I will show you the evidence of exactly why the housing market hasn't crashed and why it's not going to crash, specifically in Will County, south suburbs of Chicago. We're going to be looking at why there just simply are no indicators of a looming housing crash here in the Chicagoland area. Let's dive into it. Before we do dive into it, welcome back to another episode of Chicago Suburbs Living. As always, I'm your host, John Sintich. I am your guide to all things real estate in the Chicagoland area. If you need help buying or selling real estate in Illinois, I am a licensed realtor in the state of Illinois, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have about buying or selling in the state. Okay, now let's dive in. So let's take a look at the data that was just released out of Will County for the real estate market of March 2023. So new listings on detached single-family homes came down from 918 of March 2022 to 686 new listings this March here in 2023. That's a decrease of over 25%. For condos and townhomes, we saw a decrease of 17% from 265 new listings March 2022 to just 220 new listings here in March of 2023. This is very important to note, this declining inventory, and I'll tell you exactly why it's important in just a few minutes, so just stick with me. In Will County in the month of March of 2023, there were 752 total homes placed under contract, meaning they were listed on the market, somebody wrote an offer on it, and the seller agreed to it. So now they're under contract. So this 752 includes both single-family detached homes and townhomes and condos. So that's a 24% decrease in pending home sales, down from 994 in March of 2022. So that means there are far less transactions happening in 2023 compared to 2022. And I will again explain that later in just a few minutes, so continue to just stick with me here. So between single-family homes and condos and townhomes, the average days on market, so average market time, the amount of time a property sits on the market before it gets put under contract, was 54 days between single-family homes and condos and townhomes in Will County, March 2023. This is nearly 2 weeks longer than the amount of time properties spent on the market in March of 2022. So properties, on average, are sitting on the market for 2 weeks longer this year in March versus last year in March. Now, when we look at the median days on market for the entire country, we can see that Will County is right in line with the national median days on market of 54. 50 for Will County, 54 for the United States as a whole. And you can also see I drew a red line here on this graph. The average over the last 6 years is 81 days on market since late 2016 through where we are now. This means houses are selling much faster on average compared to several years ago. So you might be asking yourself, hey, John, why are less homes being sold this year and why are less homes being listed for sale, yet why are they selling faster than they were years ago? And probably your biggest question that still remains is, are they actually selling for less money? In some areas of the country, absolutely, they are selling for less money. In Will County, no, they are not selling for less money than they were a year ago in Will County. They're not selling for less money that they were selling for 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, on and on and on. For the last 8, 9, 10 years, we've been on a run of appreciation. That has not changed here in 2023 for Will County. Don't take my word for it. Let's look at the data and dive into it and actually take a look at what's going on. So detached single-family homes in Will County in the month of March 2023 sold for a median sales price of $325,000. This is up 1.6% from March of 2022. Now, condos and townhomes, so attached single families, had a median sales price in March 2023 of just under $260,000. That's up 10.8% from the same time last year. So what does this mean? Home prices aren't coming down? I thought the news and the media said that home prices were falling dramatically and we were headed for another housing bubble and, home prices are coming down significantly. Well, they are in some markets, just not Will County. So real estate is very hyper-local. The real estate market, it's not like the stock market. It's hyper-local. There's different markets everywhere all across the country. In San Francisco, for example, property values have declined about 10%. So yes, there are markets where home prices have come down significantly, where they were super hyper-inflated. People were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars over the asking price in 2021 and 2022. Those markets are where we're seeing significant price reductions and price decline, not here in Will County. The south suburbs in general, Cook County, south suburbs of Chicago, like Tinley, Orland, Frankfurt. Home prices are now just appreciating at a normal pace like they always have. Now, remember back in the beginning when I said, stick with me, we're going to talk about supply and pending home sales. We're going to bring this back to talk about what's going on right now and where we're headed. What kind of forecast can we build out for what's going to happen with home prices here in the near future, especially if you're on the fence and you're a little bit nervous about what if I buy a house right now and then the market crashes in 6 weeks. So new listings were down 25%, detached single family, and 17% for condos and townhomes in the month of March, and pending home sales were down 24% March 2023 compared to March 2022. But home prices still appreciated. Why? It seems like there's a lot less activity, a lot less sales going on. Why are home prices still going up? It seems like nobody wants to buy houses anymore if sales have fallen 25%. Well, it's economics 101. Price is determined by supply and demand, right? When supply is low and demand is high, price goes up. When I say new listings are down significantly, that means supply is very low. Now, what about demand? Pending sales were down 24% from this time last year. So you can say, hey, yeah, demand is down for sure. Demand is absolutely down. Demand has decreased. Now, why is that? It's because last year, in March of 2022, mortgage interest rates were under 4%. It was significantly cheaper to borrow money to purchase a home last year. Now, in March, mortgage rates have fluctuated between 6% and about 6.75%. So the cost to borrow money to purchase a home has essentially doubled in a year's time. This naturally brings down demand. Less people are going to buy when it costs more to borrow money. However, millennials and baby boomers specifically are still expressing a high demand for homes. They're building families. They're having children. Millennials are getting jobs where they can afford to purchase homes. The demand is still there. People still need places to live, and they're willing to borrow money at 6% interest to do so. And when we have extremely low supply, like we still do right now, the price is continuing to go up. Not nearly as much compared to 2021 and 2022, because there is far less demand, but they're still going up. Now, the biggest question remains, what will happen in the future? Probably the number one question that might be keeping you from purchasing a home right now. Will the market crash? We would need about 1 million homes to come to the market in order to balance out the supply issue that we have. We're just under 1 million current homes on the market in the United States of America, and about 40% of them are currently under contract. So that puts us at about 500,000 homes essentially that are currently available for sale. Just to put in perspective, in 2008, when the housing market crashed and caused a massive recession, there were 4 million homes for sale. We know from data on new construction that we're not going to have 1 million homes come to the market this year, next year. We're just simply not going to have enough homes. And most homeowners in this country now have a locked-in 30-year fixed mortgage rate under 4%. So they're not selling. At this point, people are going to sell when they have to. Death, divorce, downsizing, kids moved, they have to relocate for work. People aren't going to sell unless they absolutely have to. That's going to continue to keep the supply of new listings down. And here's the kicker, and I don't want this to become a 3-hour video, but we are heading for a recession. I won't go into the details because, again, I don't have 3 hours and I want to keep this concise. You don't have to take my word for it. Just do the research. Look at the metrics preceding all recessions in this country, and we're right there. And I'm more than happy to point you in the direction of some resources by which I'm getting this information about why there is a looming recession coming here in the end of 2023. But what happens during a recession? Rates come down. It's going to be cheaper to borrow money during a recession because they want to stimulate the economy and get more people buying. So when rates come down, more people are going to want to buy, which is going to increase that demand. And while we still have this low supply, what do you think is going to happen to home prices? They're going to go up. Supply and demand. So if you're worried about a housing crash and that is what's keeping you from going out and actually purchasing a home right now, call me, text me, email me. Let's have a conversation so I can walk you through this data more granularly. That's an impressive word, by the way. And we can talk about how we can actually save you money by buying a house now and then watching it increase in value in the coming year. I hope this information was helpful. If you got value out of this video in any way, shape, or form, please hit the like button. Please consider subscribing to my channel. I make content like this every week where I talk about all things living, breathing, playing in the south suburbs of Chicago. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.